Holy Howard, we're in the
Jake,
high
holy,
holy days,
it's
and
the
I
high
feel
holidays, Jake.
like things are going higher and higher.
What's why do you feel that way? What's higher and higher?
Well,
Just
just the spirituality, but I also feel like things are coming back. People took a break over the summer, and
right.
it coincides just when things are getting back to normal and like business is
You get
booming
like
again.
you get that week, you get like a week or two here where it's like after summer, it's just starting, and then it goes after Chagim, after Chagim. We're actually in the middle
Right.
of Chagim right now. We're in the middle of the holiday season here in Israel. We don't put off episodes. We like to keep going. I think I love talking about marketing, sales,
Mhm.
B2B, the SaaS space in general, and different founders. And I actually have invited a guest on this week. I don't think you ever met.
No.
Um, and it's something that, me personally, I find a really interesting topic. I've listened to podcasts on it. It's called public speaking. I don't
Okay.
think I'm I don't think I'm an amazing public speaker. I have a long way to go. It's definitely a skill that I know that I want to sharpen, but it's something that I enjoy doing. Some people like skydiving. I like getting on stage
Oh,
and
wow.
feeling that rush, or just being able to convey important messages. I think is important life skill, important to me.
Let's
Thought,
bring it on. Without further ado,
yeah,
let's
let's bring
meet
on
the
Helen. Helen,
guru.
the guru here, Helen Gottstein.
Oh, let's go. No guru. Can we do the introduction by what I'm Jake?
I
We don't need to, but
Helen,
No, we make
introduce
a joke.
yourself properly because you were just given this huge title. So, does it fit?
no. That
So,
would
how
be
do you
Oh,
describe yourself in
that
your
would be the
three?
short version.
Okay, go ahead.
10 years in the sphere of public speaking and communication skills. Really enjoy it. I think, one of the best jobs on planet Earth. I work with such interesting people. I learned things from different people in such varied areas all the time. And
mhm.
I see myself very much as somebody who's also on a journey and whose skills continue to grow
Mhm.
all the time. Just like we say, IQ is pretty much given at birth, but it's impacted by not cultural, but environmental factors. EQ can continue to develop throughout your lifetime. So the more you can become more sensitive, more attuned, more accurate. I think your verbal skills continue to develop throughout your lifetime. So I definitely put myself in the learner basket. And I'm grateful to say that because I've been doing it for a while, there are moments where I'm working with a client and I'll just be like, I release all of the anxiety about my own, performance anxiety, my delivery. Will I sound smart? Do I fear judgment? All the noise that we bring
Mhm.
when we're in a client vendor relationship, and just be like, I'll just trust that what I have is enough, and then you become like an effective sounding board for what it is they want to deliver, and you get there by relaxing and letting go. But anyone for me who describes themselves as a guru has already stopped learning. So I'm like, I'm not a fan. Not a
We
No,
make
fan.
a we make a joke about the guru comment more because you see these people who post a lot on LinkedIn. We all do it, right? We post on LinkedIn ourselves. There's this impression that when you post online, you're putting yourself out there as the expert, but I don't see it that way. I say like we all have something to contribute. Just today, I just posted, I saw something. Mr. Beast scheduled a video, a YouTube video, 10 years ago when he had 8,000 subscribers. And in the video, he goes like, he's just talking to himself. He's like, dude, I hope I have 1 million subscribers by 10 years, right? By now. You
right.
look at the video, he's at nearly 450 million subscribers. And is he a
Yeah.
do you think he sees himself as a YouTube guru? Do you think he saw himself as like the YouTube guru back then? I think
But
everyone's like you said, I think what you just said resonated. Like everyone should be in this learning and development mindset.
we're clearly all there, but Helen, you have an expertise in terms of the strategy or the enabling people to deliver that in their communication. Where would you see? that your experiences over the last decades has really been brought to bear? Is it the thinking of what to say, or is it actually in the articulation of that?
Mm. So I think many people, just like myself, have the balance between first content and then delivery. I'm a believer that if you don't have your content locked down, it's not clear to you the things that are really important for you to convey, then it doesn't really matter how dramatic or really deeply interesting you are on stage. If you've got nothing much to say, I think that confidence can only take you so far.
Mm.
That's what I think. So I'm a believer in first, like, what are your big three? How are you going to open? What's your flow? How do you want to wrap it up? And then let's work at getting you more engaging, more fun, more
Mhm.
serious, like creating all the things, all the elements of variety that are what hook an audience in again and again and again.
So do you
So
typically partner with the marketing or with the senior executives? Who are you working with in the various companies?
Well, it very much depends. In smaller to middle-sized companies, I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of C-suiters. In the larger companies that I'm proud to say I've worked with, I tend to work far more with the marketing team or constellations of cross-departmental teams that are brought together by HR for internal communication purposes.
How does someone know that they need a Helen Gottstein in their life? Because people
Oh,
are, by nature, Israelis are pretty confident and they think they can communicate. Whether or not they have accents or what have you, they think mean either people have confidence, maybe falsely, or they have they think that their content is so compelling that it doesn't matter the delivery. So where do we have this realization and where do C-suites or marketing teams actually say, you know what, I could use a bit of help?
Jake, I'm going to take you and put you in my pocket and just carry you around because it's such a great question for me. I see that honestly, it's the marketing people that understand that their C suite needs help. And when it's a smaller size company, like not the monsters, but not the enterprise level companies, but the small to medium sized companies, the CEO, the C-suiters are more open to saying, yeah, look, I know I'm doing well. I know I've got an incredible product. I know we're on the up and up, but I want to deliver even better than I am. And that's the meeting place of humility and ambition. That is where most people turn to me. People only work with me when their hair is on fire, when they're like, I'm speaking at black hat. Like you'd have to be, foolish to say, well, I've got this enormous stage, or I'm at least going to say that I spoke at a side room at this enormous event. To not get ready, you'd have to have a really high level of confidence that certainly some people, I will say, enjoy. Maybe they enjoy it. I wouldn't be confident their audiences enjoy it to the
Mhm.
same
yeah.
degree. But yeah, most people have a meeting place when they're really rising up the stage, like the stage they're going on is getting more and more significant. The podcast
Mhm.
they're about to be on is more and more significant with like more and more listeners.
Mhm.
So they're like,
Mhm.
it becomes important for me to deliver well, not just deliver all the things that I know, but deliver well. And
Mhm.
I'll go further and say that often in the smaller size companies, the CEOs are aware when they're coming off a research background or, you know,
Product side.
yeah, like, deep, they've just finished a, I don't know, postdoc at Harvard in like developing a particular kind of
Mhm.
product or something. They've got so many trees, they don't know what the forest is called. And
Mhm.
being able to bring that down and communicate it effectively in just a few minutes. Babu, you got 3 minutes on stage.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
cannot tell me all the things.
Mhm.
I believe you've got so many things. You've got so many things. You can't give me all the
Mhm.
things.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
I don't think CEOs or anyone really should wait till they have that black hat coming up in a few weeks to start thinking about this thing. What are some things that people can do, CEOs, all kinds of people within the ecosystem to like start training this kind of skill? Not necessarily jumping straight for I need for like high level public speaking. What are some of the things that people can do daily, weekly, monthly that can get them into this mindset of, I know my material, I'm pretty good at something, I want to say something. How do I get to a level that I feel comfortable doing it?
People, this is really fun. I just want to say for the record, these are great questions. Jake, Howard, you've
Yeah.
got 2 points and we've only just begun. So, well, I
I'm
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I think that something you can do, which is really brave, is listen back. We never love ourselves on video. We hate our voices. I sound like an idiot to myself when I listen back. It's all good. It's a step in hearing, where can I do better? Where was I repetitive, overly long, went into too much detail, missed a key term, which is really precious to me? Listening back is a brave, smart thing anybody can do anytime. Watching ourselves is a really great thing we can do. In fact, something that's recommended is to get a piece of footage of yourself and watch yourself with the sound off and simply look at what we look like on screen. What's our energy level like? How dynamic are we? Do we use our hands? If it's just, a Zoom screen, when we're on stage, what's our presence like? Are we standing still? Are we in movement all the time? So listen with the sound off, and alternatively, listen. Do I say listen? I messed it up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Never mind. The principle is this: watch with the sound off, listen with the picture off, and then
Okay.
you get to differentiate between the different skills that you need for an effective live presentation. And we just
Okay.
learn.
But
And
don't
anybody
people
can do that for free.
but don't people really dislike how they sound and how they look?
Yeah.
And they bring this like idea that they're not, like, they might be too critical. Where's that balance between, I'm listening to myself, I'm watching myself, I really don't like that, versus an objective person is like, no, I sat in the audience, I loved what you said, you delivered it clearly. I don't think you're crazy, but where is that middle ground? Because
So I think that self-criticism has an important role. I think that only people who are willing to have some kind of critique improve. So that's about being in a learner mindset. And then the compassion part comes in when we say, I did okay. I did. How can I get better? Rather than I'm a walking disaster. I once worked with a client really, really early on in my career in this sphere, and I took video of her, and she looked at herself on video, and she literally said, I cannot speak at this real estate event that I am the host
Oh my
for.
God.
I am funding the whole event, and it's to
Oh my God.
honor, like, I don't know, it was to honor her, or like, she was the focus of this whole event.
Yeah.
I can't speak because my arms are too fat.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm like, firstly, that's miserable. Secondly, stop it. Thirdly, we're not there to like evaluate your arms. So I think that self-criticism can be a huge obstacle. And when I hear something like that, it's so painful. We can hear the pain that's embedded in it for other people. And I think the faster we can practice a little self-compassion for ourselves and say,
Yeah.
okay, was not fabulous. Okay, I can dress a little better, the more likely we are to allow ourselves to grow.
Helen,
is
I have a question about this because I see it not just on stage, but also people, even with basic communication and social media or confidence, there must be some sort of objective way to understand whether or not your arms are fat and whether or not you're delivering a message well. And just even post creation, like there are some sort of, oh, that was fair. Oh, I didn't get the reaction. How do you actually evaluate if you're good or not? And I think that there's the real quality of your delivery, and then there's actually the perception of your delivery. And I'm actually wondering whether or not the people who are very confident are really good. And I see the people who are, very active on social media. I see the people who are often on the stage, and I'm thinking, I don't know whether or not there's a real way. So how can the person with, who sees that their arms are fat, really, how can they evaluate? How they have that same phobia of being on stage, they have the phobia of putting themselves out there versus the real quality of their delivery and the content that they're delivering. How can I assess truth or perception here?
Hmm. I would like to say very clearly for the record that someone who thinks that whatever shape their arms is a reason whether or not to get on stage is so busy beating themselves up that
Yeah,
they've got all sorts of
we're with you on that. I mean,
Yeah. So it
that's what I'm
sounds a little
asking.
bit sounds like part of your role is a little bit, I guess public
Coach,
speaking training, coach, therapist, maybe a little bit of that. I think
exactly.
there's a psychological component, a lot of to
But
it.
I see that not just on stage. That's why I see it on the fake stage of, digital media where people are afraid to host a webinar. That's ridiculous. Make a cold call. That's ridiculous.
Well, Jake,
Post
you
something
think
on
it's
social media.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
uh,
They are in there's no real fear. So how much is truth of their calling is terrible versus just get over it and their arms are really fat or just do it. Like it doesn't really make a difference.
I
Post
think you're
that
hitting on the
LinkedIn post.
fear, right? You're hitting on the fear
yeah.
component.
Yeah, how do we really assess whether the content's crap or whether everyone feels like, oh, I can always be better. Just get out there. Colin Powell, he said, by the time you have 100% of the information, it's too late. And I also think by the time you have 100% of the delivery and of the content, it's too late. Your topic is no longer relevant, and so on and so forth. So at what point do we just say, no, you have to just take off the gloves and go? How do we assess that? And when you've dealt with people who are damn accomplished, how
Yeah.
do we get people just get on stage and pull up your pants and let's go?
So, Jake, I'm going to push back a little bit and then I'm going to embrace something in what you've said. Firstly, I don't think we can do any time can we describe somebody's fear as ridiculous and that there's nothing to be afraid of because that's your logical self talking. And I really appreciate the perspective of quoting somebody like Colin Powell to address what readiness looks like and that you can never be fully ready, and if you are fully ready the moment has passed. So I appreciate that as an anecdote, but the world I work in, I think that what helps people get past the tremendous fear that some people experience on stage running a webinar, speaking on a podcast, whatever it is, I think it doesn't serve them to have their fear for whatever source it has described as ridiculous. For me, I have seen it's more helpful to give a space to it and then offer a whole toolbox of strategies. Some
Yeah,
are intellectual,
I agree with you.
some are emotional, some are verbal, some it's about reframe. There's all sorts of things that one can
Yeah,
do. And I come in and I'm like, I have no idea what will resonate with you. The
right.
only thing we know is that your fear is disproportionate to the situation in which you find yourself.
Right.
You're not actually on a field of battle or running from a saber-toothed tiger, even though your body is telling you that, and you might dissociate or
Yeah.
have a disembodied experience. For me, one has an obligation when someone entrusts you with their fear,
Yeah,
something that comes up from quite a deep place in the body,
yeah,
to treat their sharing that thing with you, whatever its source, however we know it's illogical, but it's not about logic, it's about
yeah.
compassion, kindness, helping them circumvent, helping them reframe, helping them
Yeah.
conquer, helping them shift. These are things
Yeah.
that have to do with emotional intelligence rather than intellectual. It's not
You're
logical. I agree.
But you
It's
can,
not
it's
no,
logical.
not.
you're great. You're great. You're
I think
empathetic.
you.
This is a great talk therapy
But
session,
there's
and I
also,
really,
Jake, I think there's also neurological things happening that like you said, like Helen, you said, you just can't control it. Some people, it's like what
I agree.
we're using the word fear, but I think even the most seasoned public speaker gets a little bit like that breath that they have to take in,
Yep.
that I'm about to step in front of a few thousand people,
Yep.
or some of the big, people who get on stage in front of millions still have to do something because their brain is telling them something, even with the compassion, even with
Yeah.
the intellect and emotional intelligence. So
100%. So there's a few things that are coming together for me. I want to relate to what Jake asked before about the gap between truth and perception. How do you know you're really doing well? Even that there should be some kind of shift in your physiology when you're about to hit a really big stage that really matters to you in front of 1 million people. Like, let's go all in, Howard. Like, let's go all in. Let's think of like the scariest scenario that we possibly can. Okay.
let's
So
unpack.
that's like, here we go. And action. Jake, I want to relate to the truth perception thing. I think that when people are have the capacity to view themselves and think, well, what was good and what can I do better? There's always going to be some change. Now, if they can't change it on their own, that's when they may, if it's urgent enough, then they may work with somebody like me. That's when they're like, I know it's not working, but I want a shortcut. I don't have time to do this another 5 times, 10 times and
Yep.
not nail it. That's when somebody like me is a shortcut, because
Yep.
I'm sitting on the outside. I can hear what you're aiming through for. I hear what is the emotional or content focus that you want to deliver. I can help you get there faster. So shortcut is what can help bridge the gap between truth and perception.
Yeah.
And about what happens to all of us when we're going to go really, really big. Howard, I think that for many of us, getting to the really, really big stage is achieved by doing smaller things first. So rather than going from, I once said my name, to the neighborhood cat, to doing a TED talk, usually there are more steps in between. Now, neither of you smiled, but I will say for the record, I thought that was very funny. We can now move on. And I also think this very strongly, that someone who comes to speak in public and has no change whatsoever in their physiology, it's an ordinary day. It's like me eating breakfast on my own, having my granola over here. If that's the energy that I bring to the big stage, I'm not sure I should be there, because audiences like people who care that they are being spoken to. Like, you're working together as a team. You, for example, are thinking about how you share the time. You're thinking about what would be an interesting question for our audience to hear from Helen right now. You're managing like multiple processes. But if you were just sitting back and saying, so, do anything interesting, and that was the energy that you were bringing to this, I think you wouldn't have the kind of content that you have. You wouldn't have the followership that you have. It would be boring. It would be boring. Your focus, your concentration, and your driving your content to serve your audience is actually what's making this successful.
Helen, I think that
Thanks.
you're a great coach, and it seems like you're able to fast track people to get to their next level. I have a double question for you.
Oh, honey, wait, let's do one.
Jake likes
Well, I
to
want to
Jake
know
likes to
because
pack it in,
I want to put
bundle
you
it.
in this spot. Where have you been on stage where you thought, OMG, I'm really beyond my natural boundaries. I'm going to break through. That's number one. And then who's your go-to? How did you escalate and elevate yourself to the next level? So let's see about, let's learn from your experiences for ourselves.
So I very much see myself as very self-critical. And in my background, I had to contend with a tremendous fear of public speaking myself. So I really understand people who bring that and want to get past it, because I understand what a tremendous obstacle and emotional burden it is. How did I build my skills? I'm a magpie. I learn from everybody all the time. When I'm working with a client, I think, what's working, what's working, what's working, what's not working, what's not working, what's not working. And then how can I take that for myself? For example, I see something that works again and again and again and again so very often is opening with a story. It creates tremendous clarity for the speaker, creates instant connection with the audience. It serves a purpose as long as it's intimately connected with the subject which is about to be addressed, and it creates immediacy and there's like an immediate application of the content about which we're about to speak.
That's great
So
tips.
it's a great tip. And when I say story, I mean maximum 90 seconds, maximum. If you're telling a story, you've got 20 minutes on stage, you want to be able to throw in a number of anecdotes. You want to be able to deliver those anecdotes in like 45 seconds each.
Right.
Done, done. And to do that, you want to shave those stories down to their core elements. You want to open with the highlight or give, one moment of it was an ordinary day, bang, this weird thing happened, this shift in narrative occurred, the adventure began. You want to get there fast. Stories can be delivered in 45 seconds or less. I'm a fan of the 35-second story, which is about 4 sentences. Done. Next. Point, scale, go fast. If you can say it in a few words, why say it in many? So that's what I'm a fan of. And when have I felt challenged myself? I spoke at a Femtech event in March sometime.
Yeah.
And it was like a big deal for me. The audience, the setting, I'd help work with all the speakers that were standing up to speak, and then I was coming. It was like, for me, big deal.
It's like you train all the people who are speaking, and you have to go up. You have to be.
People are like, let me just adjust this.
They expect expectations might feel higher.
Yeah. So I also experienced that pressure, and I'm also like, okay, practice what you preach. It's also why I speak in public, is in order to, keep my own skin in the game. And as I'm about to walk on stage, they're doing the introduction, yada, yada, yada. I notice my heart is really pumping. And instead of being like, oh no, I'm really nervous. Look at that. My heart is beating. I'm clearly got anxiety. I literally I heard myself say to my heart, hello, friend.
Mm.
And then I walked
acknowledging it, right?
Yeah, acknowledge, say, here we are together. Thanks for being with me. I can hear you working hard. Me too.
Yeah.
Let's go. Instead of, because we have 2 possible cycles, right? We have the negative cycle. Look at me. Look at me. I stumbled on my words. Will they think I'm an idiot? Oh, no, I sound like an idiot. The whole negative spiraling that we do, or the positive spiraling, which is like, oh, look at me. Oh, look at how funny I am. Look how fun that was. Look how the audience is with me. We can roll both ways. So I think the more compassion we practice, when we bring some kind of anxiety or extra adrenaline to the thing we're about to do because of whatever we carry with us, I'm like, the better we're going to do. That's it.
So those are great stories, but you didn't address necessarily who is your guide.
Who's your guru? Although we said we don't like to use that word. Who's the person you look to say this is where, like you said, you coach yourself when you went to that event, but who's your mentor in these situations?
So I have reached out to people when I want to be coached before I'm about to do something big. For that Femtech event, there were 2 other people who were also helping to coach people. Yeah, I was the communication consultant, but the organizer of the conference was also, giving tips and guidance and helping people to really drive towards the key content that she wanted them to speak to. And they gave me feedback, and I was like, they're like, oh, so how is it to get a little feedback, Helen? And I'm like, it's fantastic. It's brilliant. We all do better with a little feedback. Like, duh. Who wouldn't want it?
So it's not necessarily a specific person or something. It's just generally professionals that you trust to give you honest feedback is where you look to.
100%. I think, Howard, you and I saw each other recently at an event run by Billy Cena.
Yeah.
And one of the things that makes her events absolutely stand out is she does prep with all of the speakers before they get up on stage.
Yeah, you can tell.
You can tell. You can tell. These people got support, they got focused, they got pushed, they got timelined, all the things. As a TEDx mentor, I know that no one walks up onto a TEDx stage just like because they breezed into it. No, nah, doesn't happen.
It reminds me a little bit of my time with Tony Robbins. Have you ever spent some time with Tony?
Have I personally spent time with
Yeah,
Tony? Look, he keeps trying to connect with me on LinkedIn, but I say
I
no.
tell you, he's just downboard.
He's just your average guy with the
So,
small little following.
Yeah,
so he
right.
does. What's incredible about him is he has a process and he understands how to get this done. I wonder if there's something that anyone who's listening now can take an action. So there's a lot of like emotion creates emotion, and that's something that everyone takes when you spend any time with Rob Tony, then you take that with you. And then
Wait,
when you learn how to clap like Tony, then these are things that you can take specific actions. Next time I'm speaking, next time I have to do something that's difficult for me, I take them with me. So I know it's not fair because this is a free consumption of content, but
No,
we can put a little pay box link in the
for
notes.
sure.
Is there
wait,
something that
but Jake,
yeah,
before you finish, I also want to throw in one more part to that because I hear a lot of people talk about this, and I'll just me personally, that blackout moment. Sometimes you get on stage, your content, you know it inside and out,
yeah.
and you just do not remember. You finish, and you're like, "How was that 20 minutes? I don't
Mhm.
remember a single word that I just said," and you have that blackout. So when addressing Jake's bundled uh advice for people just specifically
Mhm.
how to address that, prevent that blackout obviously, but also when you're in that blackout, recognizing it and how do you snap out of it.
Okay, so uh, I'll try to address both. They're a little bit different areas, but here we go. Before you speak in public, I think you have an obligation to do a micro, spend 5 minutes asking yourself, who is the audience? A moment of mapping saves so many missed opportunities. So who is the audience? I mean, you're in marketing, you're in the B2B world. You understand the value of like understanding the niche that you are speaking to. In my world, it's not enough to say, well, there'll be marketing professionals and a couple of CTOs in the audience. Not enough. We need to go far beyond the job description, ask, what are these people looking for? What do they crave? What will they engage with? Nobody cares about us. They don't care about our name. They don't care about our title. They don't care where we come from or where we're going. The only thing they care about is how will this serve me and helping me contend with the things that I've got going on. So spend a minute mapping the audience. Then you do just think for a moment, how long do I have on stage? If I need to deliver, wait, so we've got audience, we've got time, and then we've got key goal. What is the one thing that I want to use this opportunity to do? Spend 5 minutes hitting those three and then ask yourself, how do I bridge from where my audience is to where I want them to be? That journey is how you build your content. And if you don't spend 1 minute mapping who they are, where they are at, you're never going to get them on the plane to bring them to where you want to go, to your destination.
Mhm.
So that's about something that anybody who's listening right now can do really fast and pays off every time. And then couple that with an opening story, 35 seconds, I've like edited it down hard, bridged to my key message, follow it up with scale, how it's relevant, how we've gone bigger, success, fail, however you want to carry that work forward. Open with a story and then bring me in. And about the blackouts, I think a couple of things. I think the main thing to do is practice beforehand in order to avoid the blackout. It's best to avoid, when we say there are 3 times to deal with objections before, during, and after. We always want to try to deal with them before rather than, chase the horse after it's already left the stable, right? So what can we do to avoid the blackout? A couple of things that we can do to avoid it. One, start faster. Walk out on stage to begin. Have your first 2 lines in mind, on to the top of mind. Come out on stage. bang,
Bam.
walk to the spot, grab the mic and go before the critical mind comes up and stops you and blocks you, and you have disassociation, which is harder, can be harder if you're already on stage waiting for your turn to speak.
Technical stuff and things like that that can
Yeah,
slow you
it
down.
can impede. So starting faster, knowing how you're going to start. And if you think, well, I do have a tendency to disassociate or black out, however you want to say it, having the presence of mind to breathe for a moment, say to yourself, I've blacked out, breathe, can help reconnect the different parts of self. I heard this idea many, many years ago that what's happening in a blackout is professional identity is made up of all the access to language, who we are, how we describe ourselves.
Right.
Part of our power of being a professional is being able to articulate that well. And when we black out, what happens is we lose access to all the words that make up who we are. And what we're left with is body. We're just blank mind, wet hands, dry mouth, beating heart. All we have is like black. I'm seeing black. I've got nothing. I can't
Like a
access.
loss of identity, you're saying.
Yeah, it's like loss of the verbal part which of self, which makes me who I am. So
Yeah.
having even a keyword, something that I am a fan of is knowing how you're going to open without it being about your content. So having a word like good, something that is not about Howard Schulman and what he thinks about B2B anything. Just having like the word good or great, let's go, as your opening can help you sustain access to the verbal part of self where all your clever words are, which will help bring you forward into your content. And before you ask your next question, I want to say I listened to a couple of episodes before coming on today, and you were
Here
speaking
comes
a
the
lot about,
feedback.
no, not at all.
Yeah, guys. No,
If I
no,
had
we're
feedback,
open to it. We're open to it, please.
if I had feedback, this would so not be the context in which I would give it. Like, I'll say that so loudly, so clearly. What is the connection between AI and public speaking? I think that what we are seeing, and I'm kind of going hard on this, is we are so flooded with AI content, and we only have a sense that it's accelerating and getting more and more and more, that we are craving the authentic voice on stage. That's one thing. We are craving a return to face, real people telling us how it is. I think we want it even more sharply than perhaps we have in the past. That's one element. And the other element of it is, I think that we have an increasingly low tolerance for people who do not have their messaging on point. We are, we've got AI spinning us texts and telling us interesting stories and bringing us anecdotes and whatever, micro videos. And it's sharp, it's clear, it's on message, it's on point, nobody gets confused. I think that we want our speakers to be on point, sharp, hard, clear, and ready to roll, ready for the stage, perhaps in ways that I've seen video of tremendously famous people speaking in the late 60s, early 70s, and they're speaking for so long before they get to an idea to modern ears. Like, babe, I don't have time for that. Give it to me fast. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what people are looking for. I think I think society's changed to a point where I'm going to tie it to the marketing, like you said. I think it's very important to be able to deliver a compelling. I'm going to use the word entertaining as well. I think people sit and scroll and we do B2B advertising, and we're advertising on social, so people are scrolling through their entertainment feeds. What they want to see is still entertainment, and then when they go in person, especially, I think it's going to be even more important.
Yeah, Helen, I think that you've really done a great job of establishing that there is a continual battle here, battle for attention and delivery. I think that you've highlighted that. You've given a few very concrete examples about how we can do it, and you've actually covered with some stories about your own battles on stage. So I think that that's good. We also understand that we're not done, and we should always have those butterflies, and we should always be thinking, how can I improve? And so I think that we probably have to make a post date to improve our game and even improve our delivery here. So I think that you've given us homework for that. So Helen, to that I thank you and
Yeah, thank you,
applaud you.
Helen.
And I think that you're elevating the caliber of messaging and delivery coming out of this great country of ours. So
Yeah, elevating
to that,
yeah, thank you. And like you said, we met at events. I've seen, you do attend and you're present. And I think it's adding a lot of value to our high tech ecosystem. And I honestly believe, like I said before, like getting up in person is one of those parts of marketing that are going to be even more valued, right? Digital marketing has gone through different phases, right? And so now with AI, certain things have become easier. We saw, something that used to take a week to produce now takes only an hour. So what else are you going to do with the rest of the time? That's on the creation. Practice speaking, get out there. Where are you going to spend your money on ads? There's so much competition, but when you get on stage and deliver that compelling speech. So again, thank you for adding that to the ecosystem. It's truly valuable and appreciated.
Super fun. So
Yeah.
much fun.
So
Thank you
Alan.
so much for the opportunity to come on and play today. Brilliant.
Amazing. Nice
thanks,
chatting.
Helen.
Take care, Helen. Be well.
Thanks. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye.